The Costco bakery may just have some of the most delicious pastries and cakes in the world. Alas, your doctor would probably prefer that you not indulge in these sweet and flaky, but also seriously unhealthy signature treats. The single most popular item in Costco's bakery department may just be their colossal muffins. Shoppers have been filling their carts happily with 6-packs of these treats for years, with delicious flavors like vanilla chocolate chunk, banana chocolate chip, and mantecada. These pastries are baked on site rather than shipped in frozen and then reheated. But despite their freshness and deliciousness, that doesn't change their seriously elevated calorie counts. This is especially true of the double chocolate and pumpkin streusel varieties. The former clocks in at a whopping 690 calories with 79 grams of carbohydrates, 38 grams of fat, and 48 grams of sugar. The latter doesn't fare much better with 680 calories and 82 grams of carbohydrates per muffin. Eating one Costco muffin every once in a while isn't a terrible idea. However, if you're trying to stick to lighter treats all the time, then you should walk past these tantalizing snacks, as difficult as that may be. Incorporating healthy fats into a diet, like those found in avocados or nuts, is a generally good idea, but saturated fats should generally be avoided, as they can cause cholesterol to build up in the arteries. Health experts generally agree that it's best to limit consumption of saturated fats, which is where this next delicious bakery item runs into trouble. The Kirkland signature plain cheesecake is so delicious that some customers have hailed it as one of the best cheesecakes they've ever eaten. The calorie total of 440 per slice isn't terribly high for a sugary dessert, but you should be concerned by the fact that each of these fluffy white triangles contains 19 grams of saturated fat. Compare that to the American Heart Association's recommendation of a daily limit of around 13 per day. So for the love of your heart, maybe pass on that Costco cheesecake next time.
It's like thanks, but no thanks.
As the name indicates, Danishes originated in Denmark. Costco's bakery has adopted a few different Danish flavors over the years, and perhaps the most consistent offering is the Kirkland signature cream cheese variety. A beautiful combination of savory and sweet, this treat is especially beloved by Costco shoppers. As one fan raved on Reddit, "The cream cheese Danish is heavenly. They're almost too big for me to finish in one sitting, but dear God, so good." Alas, the devil is in the nutritional details. At 500 calories, 36 grams of sugar, 27 grams of fat, and a whopping 59 grams of total carbohydrates, this pastry leaves a lot to be desired in the health department. If you simply can't resist one of these cream cheese Danishes, we recommend cutting it in half and sharing it with someone else. When it comes to the United States' favorite cookie, chocolate chip typically takes the title by a landslide.
Tell Jimmy I want 10 chocolate chip cookies.
Surveys about the very best cookies routinely place chocolate chip at number 1, and if you have a sweet tooth, it's not hard to understand why. Costco's version of this popular treat is technically a chocolate chunk variant that utilizes larger than normal hunks of chocolate folded into the dough to create an even sweeter bite. But the next time you swing by the Costco bakery and scan the clear plastic boxes full of Kirkland's signature chocolate chunk gourmet cookies, you may want to think twice. Each cookie is loaded with 210 calories, 27 grams of carbohydrates, and 16 grams of sugar. And how can you stop at just one after all? If you want to avoid the sugar shock, maybe just break off a bit and pace your cookie-loving self. Croissants are a staple at pretty much any bakery thanks to both their tastiness and their incredible variety. There are dessert croissants, savory croissants, stuffed croissants, and even deep-fried croissants. Costco's version is a simple butter variety, and this very simplicity may be why it's so irresistible. Simply put, anything is possible with a pack of Kirkland signature butter croissants.
Nothing is impossible.
Anything that is, except sticking to a healthy eating plan. According to the nutritional stats on the package, this humble pastry boasts more than meets the eye. Each croissant contains 300 calories, and then there are the 60 milligrams of cholesterol, 330 milligrams of sodium, and 30 grams of carbohydrates. It all adds up to a much heavier bite than the light and airy vessel you thought you were biting into. The apple fritter loaf joined the Costco bakery in 2023, and soon enough, flocks of customers were running to their nearest locations to get a taste of this sweet newcomer. Channeling the flavors of a classic apple fritter donut, this cinnamon and spice creation is baked into a giant shareable loaf and topped with a sugary crumble. But as it so often goes, while it may be delicious, it's not exactly nutritious. The total of 220 calories per serving might not sound all that bad at first. But once you realize that a serving is only 1/20th of the loaf, it becomes clear that you probably have to settle for some very, very small pieces. Chances are probably high that you'd prefer something at least double that size. This means that 220 calories multiply to 440, 12 grams of fat become 24, 14 grams of sugar become 28, and 26 grams of carbohydrates turn into a gut-wrenching 52. And then there's the artificial flavoring, which is the final icing on top that ruins the whole cake. It shouldn't be surprising to learn that the Kirkland Signature Chocolate Lovers Cookie Pack is rich, luxurious, and pretty heavy. That's just how it goes when it comes to cookies filled with chocolate, and this delicious trio features plenty of it in its selection of triple chocolate, chocolate chunk, and white chocolate macadamia nut. While you can expect a ton of flavor when biting into any one of these three choices, you can also expect a lot of calories, sugar, and fat. Each cookie holds between 220 and 230 calories. While that may not sound too bad, it sounds a lot worse when you consider the relatively small size of the cookies themselves. Plus, they don't contain any fiber or much protein to keep your stomach full. Instead, there's a rather staggering blast of 17 to 19 grams of sugar that will likely burn right through you and just leave you hungry again very soon.
I'm hungry again!
Dining on something a little heartier and with a bit more to offer nutritionally would obviously be a healthier choice. But if you keep the spirit of moderation in mind, then enjoying one of these cookies every once in a while shouldn't be too big a deal. Costco's Tuxedo cake, with its layers of chocolate mousse, cream cheese, chocolate bits, and frosting on top, has plenty of die-hard fans. As one of them proclaimed on Reddit, it's the best cake in the building. Not too sweet, rich, dark chocolate, amazing. My birthday cake every year. But as happy as this dessert may make our taste buds, the rest of our bodies aren't too pleased. This Tuxedo cake is another of Costco's loaf-shaped creations with a rather unrealistic serving suggestion. The calorie count is 280 per serving, but that's assuming that the cake is cut into 16 portions. Something twice as big seems more likely, thus giving each piece a more accurate 560 calories per slice. If you double the other stats as well, you get a whopping 34 grams of fat, 100 milligrams of cholesterol, 380 milligrams of sodium, and almost 60 grams of carbs per slice. Plus, there are some questionable ingredients like modified cornstarch or corn syrup. Of course, you'll ultimately have to decide for yourself if the sheer deliciousness is worth the nutritional risk. With so many nuts packed in, it's no secret that pecan pie is a high-calorie dessert. A standard slice has about 500 calories to be specific. Perhaps you've been holding out hope that Kirkland Signature's seasonal version of this classic dessert would be a lighter addition. Alas, quite the opposite is true, as this version is even heavier than the average. Each 1/16th serving of a Kirkland pecan pie clocks in at a hefty 540 calories and 29 grams of fat. And of course, if you're having a larger slice than 1/16th, then it's going to be even more than that. And for a lot of customers, the taste isn't even worth it anyway.
Bad idea.
Online reviews have dinged this pie for being overly sweet, or for a crust that's too thin, or for the runny custard in the center. If, however, you love any and all pecan pies, then maybe you'll decide that all those calories are worth it. Otherwise, it's obvious that you should steer clear. The term mini tends to give shoppers the hope that an otherwise rich pastry must be healthier based on an indication of smaller serving sizes. Unfortunately, that's often not actually the case, and it's certainly not true about the seasonal Kirkland Signature mini carrot cakes. Costco's cupcake-like pastries sport some seriously adorable frosted orange carrots on top, but they also boast some seriously hefty nutritional stats. Each carrot cake muffin consists of 740 calories, 31 grams of fat, and an almost unbelievable 107 grams of carbohydrates. Despite all that, customers have praised these mini cakes for their extreme deliciousness. They're the kind of item that loyal Costco shoppers flock to after a long absence. As one fan announced on Reddit, "I'm a fiend for these carrot cake muffins and think it's the best carrot cake that I've ever had. I haven't seen them in store for about 5 years, so I was stoked to see them today." That rave review might be enough to convince you to ignore all those concerning nutritional stats, but you should still probably proceed with caution. Danishes are a particularly enjoyable dessert thanks to their flexibility. They can be savory, sweet, or a mix of the two, thus allowing them to serve as a vessel for a diverse array of uniquely flavored fillings on the inside. Costco has certainly taken advantage of this versatility by integrating various fillings into this classic pastry over the years. One of their celebrated takes is the Kirkland Signature Cherry Danish, which offers a deep red, luxurious, sweet, fruit-filled center.
Me want food!
Don't be embarrassed if your mouth isn't immediately watering at the sound of that decadently fruity description. But before you make a beeline to the cherry Danishes, make sure you don't ignore the nutritional stats. Unsurprisingly, they're not exactly friendly to your overall health. One round of these creamy, flaky treats will put you 470 calories in the hole, along with 23 grams of fat, 400 milligrams of sodium, and 59 grams of carbohydrates. At least there are 7 grams of protein mixed in there. Since protein can help you stay fuller longer, if you do decide to have one of these Danishes, you should at least be able to count on staying satisfied for a while afterward. Peanut butter and chocolate are a combination that many consider heavenly, so it's no wonder that this flavor mashup has been employed in so many delicious desserts. The Kirkland peanut butter chocolate cream pie is one of them, as it harnesses the classic tastes of peanut butter, chocolate, and caramel for a 3 layers thick mousse-based pie with a cookie crumble crust on the bottom. It would be absolutely divine if this Costco creation weren't worthy of nutritional suspicion, but of course it is. Here are the dirty details. Each 1/16 slice of the pie checks in at 540 calories, 41 grams of fat, and 31 grams of sugar. As for the ingredients themselves, they're numerous and sometimes difficult to pronounce, though some fans urge ignoring the label and enjoying a slice anyway. Life is short after all, so the occasional carefree indulgence is an important way to be happy. Just remember not to go overboard and sample every treat on this list in one sitting, and you should be fine.